Hi, this is Christopher Bruzzo. Welcome back. This is not my typical video, but I bought the VangComp DSAC, Detachable Side Ammunition Carrier, for my VangComp Model 764, which is a Mossberg 590A1. It didn't come with installation instructions, and so I wanted to just do a quick video on how to install it. I know Cody did one, but it's not as detailed as I would like. So here we go. Okay, so it comes in just a simple plastic bag with no instructions, as I stated. The detachable shell carrier has a small plastic bag in it with your installation hardware. Aluminum backing plate, which has velcro on one side. I believe it's type 3 hard anodized, and it has a threaded insert for the screw, which is going to replace your trigger pin. The steel insert won't strip, and it also comes with a new ejector screw, which interfaces with the aluminum backing plate. It has a notch on it and kind of acts as like a key, I guess you'd say a key. It fits into a larger hole on the backing plate. You push it forward and then it slides in, and it holds the front of the backing plate in alignment. So it keys it into location. The trigger pin screw threads in to the steel thread, and it's long enough so it does not bind the receiver like some other ones do. Now, I chose to remove the barrel because you do have to remove the ejector, and it just gives you a little more access to it. You could probably do it without this step, but it's really quick, and I chose to do so primarily because I'm going to use Loctite, and I want to be able to clean that area really well. So you need to remove the trigger pin, which I circled in red. It's just a simple pin. You need to drive it out. We're going to replace this with a screw that actually attaches the side saddle. You probably don't need a hammer. I just took a light tap, just use the proper size pin, drive it out, and remove it. Okay, so we need to remove the ejector. And the first step is to remove the ejector screw. It's a flathead screw circled in red. It's very important to have a flat ground screwdriver that properly fits the screw so you don't strip it or mar it in case you want to reinstall this back in the future. So get the right size screwdriver, put some good down pressure on it. It's tight. You don't need any heat to break it loose, but it is in there tight, and we don't want to damage it. So once you remove this screw, the ejector is just going to fall out, which is primarily why I removed the barrel in the previous step. So we'll want to just remove the ejector and set that aside. Okay, so I'm using Loctite to install the new ejector screw, which has the bulbed portion that keys the side saddle portion. So I'm just using a Q-tip with some acetone to really clean that hole so the Loctite adheres. I spoke to Cody at VangComp. He said this is not required. It's not going to hurt anything. You can do it if it makes you feel better. But the way this functions, and if you have the side saddle on, it's not going to back out because it's keyed to the side saddle. So the side saddle is going to keep it from backing out. I preferred to do this. It just seemed to make more sense to me. So I'm just using a Q-tip with acetone, cleaning both sides. and the area around the ejector. When I removed the ejector, it had a bunch of oil underneath it, and Loctite doesn't adhere well to oil. You could use rubbing alcohol, nail polish cleaner. I always use acetone because I have it around. So do it if you want. So you don't want to just clean the threads. You also need to clean the screw. It came looking really clean. I'm sure it'd be fine if you didn't, but I just chose to spray down some acetone and make sure the threads were really clean so the Loctite adhered. Probably a waste of time, but why not if it gave me some peace of mind. And as I said, this Loctite's not totally required. So before we put the ejector screw in, we needed to put the ejector back into place. I chose just to spray it down so no oil seeped into the threads or got on the screw as I inserted it. Probably completely unnecessary. We just want to put that ejector back in place where it came from. The larger portion goes in back near the butt with the shorter in the front. Okay, so now we want to put the ejector screw in. Now that the ejector's in place, a small dab of blue non-permanent Loctite is what VangComp suggests. I agree with it. The protruding portion is going to help it just sit right in there. So just drop it in there. Don't try to get Loctite everywhere. The same screwdriver that fit the original screw fits the new screw perfectly, as it should. I searched for torque specs online, could not find any, but the original was pretty hard to remove. But this is a stainless steel screw, so it actually will yield quicker than a steel screw. I gave it really hand tight. Didn't feel it yield at all. So now you can see the part protruding that is going to key into the side saddle. I just wiped it off so you don't get any residue Loctite. So you see on the back of the side saddle there's a hole and a slot. You want to line the hole, which is towards the muzzle, up with the ejector screw key, and when it engages you can push it forward into position. What you're doing is you're sliding that key down the slot, and next step is to put in the trigger pin. I had a little bit of trouble with this. I mean, it pushes right in, but lining it up. So if you just try to guess where the alignment is on the side saddle, you aren't going to be right, and it's not going to thread in. So if you put the screw in, flip the receiver over and kind of slide the side saddle out of the way, there's a little bit of wiggle room. So you can take that trigger pin screw and have it protrude a little bit, kind of pull up the side saddle, slide it down, and it will pop right into that hole. Now the hole is steel. There's a threaded insert there. I don't know if it's a PEMsert or a steel rivet. Actually, it didn't look like a PEMsert. A steel rivet of some sort. And it's not going to require a ton of torque. There's a shoulder on the screw to prevent you from over tightening it and constricting the receiver, which is good. But in theory, if you just really torque down on that, you could strip out that steel insert. So hand tight is going to be good for that. Don't sweat over it, and really don't put too much elbow grease into it. It's going to be fine. No Loctite required. So now the side saddle is installed. It's basically just a Velcro backer that you don't have to stick to your receiver. Time to put the barrel back on. I find it easiest with the pump in the middle position. Just put it right back on. I'm sure everybody knows how to do that. Just put it back on, and put your end cap on. It's way easier than a Remington. You don't have a magazine spring you gotta deal with. Obviously, you are going to want to function check this after you reinstall. Make sure everything ejects properly and is installed so that it works. So I know this wasn't a typical video of mine. It was kind of impromptu. I didn't even know if I was going to make it into a video, but it's a good product, and being new to Mossberg, it's not like a Remington, so I had some questions installing it and couldn't find much on the web. So I hope you enjoyed it. You'll see some more stuff soon, and until next time, enjoy.